Good evening, everyone. Is that me or is that somebody has something? Hello, good evening, everyone. Much better. Trying to get rid of the echo. Welcome to the regular Planning Commission meeting of the City of Reading for Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. In attendance here in council chambers is Peter Rye and myself. I am Wayne Beeler. I am chairman of the committee, and online we have Nelson DeLeon and Wilson Feasey. And Commissioner Harris just joined us. So, okay. So Commissioner Harris is here, not Commissioner DeLeon. But however, we have 4 people, so that is quorum. So we may conduct business today. We don't have any previous meeting minutes for approval. Is there public comment? Okay. Hearing none. First, we will get an update on 2139 North 13th Street, the former Albright College property.
So we had discussion last week regarding their proposed project to add apartment buildings in there, to add quite a few dwelling units to their property. A portion of their property does land within the City of Reading. So we just need action on a waiver of land development on our end.
As per request of the Planning Commission in our last meeting to inform the fire department, we were able to have a conversation with them, and they're okay with reaching out in the case of anything, an emergency from the city.
Okay, yeah. Great. Very good. Any questions from the commissioners about considering a waiver for a land for reviewing the land development at 2139 North 13th Street?
So you said it's partially, the property is partially in the city? Or?
Yeah, there's a small corner at the southern end of it. And even then, where they're developing is nowhere near the portion that's within the city. It's all along the northern property line.
Okay, thank you.
And just for background, we had the opposite thing happen with the Cartech property. That's mostly in what we call the Riverdale section of the city about 10 or 12 years ago. And Muhlenberg saw that they only had a small portion. So they waived their ability to review and let us do the entire thing.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Will.
The other example was the gas station on Route 61, where most of it was in the city except for 40-something square feet on the Muhlenberg side, remember?
Yes. Yeah, so this is a common thing that we do to so that the developers don't have to go through 2 review processes and hold up the timeline. So do I hear a motion to waive review on 2139 North 13th Street? Peter?
I'll move it.
Okay. And Will? Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we are unanimous, and that development review has been waived.
I just
So
want to,
next,
if I may, I just want to comment, Mr. Chairman. For future consideration, for these little parcels that are partly in one municipality and partly in another, I think we should maybe discuss this at a workshop. Consider maybe some swaps to avoid even this. and for other purposes too, where it might be prudent. So just something to think about for the future.
Okay, thank you, Will. Okay, next up, we have the Eternity Youth Adult Daycare Center at 118 South 9th Street, which used to be the Jet Set Restaurant. And I'll turn it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay. This is a revised plan or preliminary / final plan that has been submitted to the city for I believe this is the third time. The current review is issued April 22nd, 2026, and it's in regards to the Eternity Daycare Facility. The project will be conducted now in 2 stages or 2 phases. The first phase will include the utilization of the first floor as a daycare facility occupying roughly 125 students. A planning module will not be required for that portion of the property because it balances, whereas far below what the previous restaurant had. They also will not need access to South 9th Street in regards to the HOP, so the PennDOT issue is no longer there. They may pursue that option at a later date, and it would be up to them to provide proof that they do have an HOP for the use of that. And then once they have taken care of the second floor occupancy area and ready to occupy that, then the planning module may be required at that time. So the remaining comments are somewhat just procedural requirements. I'm not sure if we heard back from the Fire and Rescue Department, but a municipal improvements agreement shall be required for the project since it will involve some curb sidewalks and driveways along Peach Street, but it's be a simple application for the municipal improvements agreement. All the other items have been taken care of. Like I said, the only remaining issues are just a few procedural requirements, and a consolidated deed will also be required for the annexations. So that concludes that review.
Dan, are you here with us today? Yeah, okay. No problem. Dan was here last month to take care of most things. So this is ready?
Yeah, that's what Dan had agreed to do, and he revised the plan to indicate those issues
Okay, great.
or resolve those issues.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners? Okay, hearing none. Do I hear a motion to grant approval for the preliminary final development plan approval for the Eternity Daycare Day Facility Land Development Plan, saldo number 2602-0003, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter issued by Hawk Valley Associates dated April 22nd, 2026.
I'll do that.
Peter?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
James? Or was that Nelson?
That was
That
me.
was Nelson.
That was
Coach Nelson.
yeah.
Okay. Thought that was Nelson. Okay.
Yeah.
Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. And then do I hear a motion to authorize the chairman of the planning commission to execute the municipal improvements agreement?
Yeah.
So moved.
Peter? Nelson? Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. And very good. We move on to 108 Oley Street Minor Land Development Plan. This is the, okay, I remember what this is. I'll go to Jerome for the update.
This is a revised preliminary slash final plan application that was previously reviewed by the Planning Commission. Our recent review letter is dated April 22nd, 2026. And with regards to this project, this is an adaptive reuse project that will be involving a commercial use on the first floor and 4 residential apartments on the second floor. There are 3 existing parking spaces, and then there'll be off-site parking requirements for the remainder of the activities. Some of the more prominent issues that remain are that the applicant will need to identify the zoning hearing board decision. With respects to the off-street parking and loading and site accessibility, the applicant has not accounted for the off-street parking spaces that may be required for all the uses, more specifically the first floor, which would be a undesignated commercial use, which we can place a condition on the plan to indicate that off-street parking would be required for that. They definitely can't do it on-site, but they may be able to do it off-site, or they may then choose to use the basement garage or spaces in lieu of that, and then the folks that are renting the apartment units can then be off-site. So that has to be determined yet. We had also asked that we believe that the curbs and sidewalks are in good condition and do not need to be replaced at this time. The development shall be served by sanitary sewer service, and therefore the planning module for the project shall be reviewed and approved, but initially by Public Works and then DEP. That issue needs to be resolved. The site will be served by municipal water supply facilities, and we need to see the will serve agreements. Fire and rescue will need to review the plans to determine if there's issues regarding site accessibility, and we might want to point out to them about the basement parking spaces at this facility. The Berks County Planning Commission, I believe, has reviewed this plan or chose not to.
They deemed that a review from their office isn't required.
Okay. And there are no municipal improvements that are required for this project, so everything else is clean in terms of approval. I think that the remaining conditions can be resolved with the planning office.
And just to add a little bit, for the architectural renderings and floor plans and all of that, that wouldn't necessarily be needed until they go to get their official zoning permit. So they have a little bit of time to do that. They don't necessarily need that for the recording of the plan. That's just the final plans that they will be giving to the zoning office. And then regarding the commercial use, that they are aware that whatever they do end up identifying will need to go through the zoning hearing board again. So any issues regarding parking and all of that will get resolved at that zoning hearing board. So I think just obviously they had to put the ZHB decision on their plans, and then, just emphasizing the note that this is going to be a commercial unit. The identification of what type of commercial it is isn't necessarily required. However, they are working with Public Works to determine how to do their sewer modules to accommodate an unknown commercial unit. So that is currently in progress.
Okay. I think that's one of the most important things, to make sure that the sewer modules are in progress. Is there anyone here for this project?
That's me. Hi, I'm Elliot. I'm the project manager.
Hi, do you have any comments or questions?
So the planning module is currently being submitted by All County Associates. I'm sorry, I don't have an update at this time, but it is being submitted by another agency.
As we mentioned, as long as you're in the process of submission, because that could take 6 months or more.
Yeah, I believe it is in the process of I believe it's been submitted to a couple of the entities.
Yeah. So we have no, like I say, we just want to know that it's in process.
Understood,
The-
understood.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Okay, hearing none. Do I hear a motion to grant the preliminary final land development approval for 108 Oley Street Meyer Land Development Plan, saldo number 2603-0005, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter issued by Hawk Valley Associates dated April 22nd, 2026?
Peter.
Okay, Peter, second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, James. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Very good. And this one doesn't require a municipal improvements agreement, right? No. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, very good. Preliminary/final, yeah. Okay, next up, we have 1360 North 10th Street Minor Land Development Plan. And I just need to make a note here for myself because as I tell everyone, never copy and paste, but I was in a hurry today. There we go. All right, and this is, this one more time to refresh my memory. The old Rising Sun bar. So I'll go to Jerome for the update.
Okay, this is the 1360 North 10th Street Land Development Plan. This plan was submitted as a revised preliminary/final plan application. My review has been issued on April 22nd, 2026. As you recall, this plan will involve a adaptive reuse project, which considers an existing daycare facility on the first floor, 3 residential apartments on the second and third floor. They do have 5 existing off-street parking spaces that will be utilized by the daycare facility itself. Moving through the comments, the most significant ones that are remaining are that the applicant will be required to have 3 off-site parking spaces for the apartments, and they will be planning to lease those or get a lease agreement for the reserving of the 5 off-street parking spaces that are required at the Pike Cafe. So that would need to be submitted to the city of Reading and then incorporated into their zoning permit.
We do have that agreement already. It was part of their ZHB application.
The existing 5 spaces that are located for the daycare facility are considered acceptable, and they will be utilized for pickups and drop-offs. We had asked that verification needs to be provided in order to consider that there'll be no pickups and drop-offs or parking for the daycare facility along Pike Street, North 10th Street, and Clover Street. So this would avoid double parking issues as well as safety issues. So they would be required to utilize the designated off-street parking area. Moving forward, there will be a need for one on-street loading space, in which they do provide an area for it. If you look at the pictures, you can see the bus parked at that location, so they can utilize that spot. Fire and rescue will need to review the plans in terms of fire accessibility or emergency accessibility, as well as the neighborhood in terms of fire hydrants, standpipes, and related emergency facilities. The proposed development shall be served by sanitary sewer services, and the applicant shall provide documentation regarding the proposed wastewater flows for the site, considering existing conditions and proposed conditions with the residential apartment units. Curbs and sidewalks for the area will most likely be required along Pike Street and North 10th Street. They are in fair condition now, which probably should be replaced. And then finally, if we do consider the plan, a municipal improvements agreement would be required for basically the curb, sidewalk, and ramps along the frontage. So a simple agreement would be satisfactory. And that concludes the review.
Okay, is there anyone here for this project?
That's me again.
Any questions or comments?
Did you say a municipal agreement will be required or it will not be required?
A simple agreement, which is when we say simple municipal improvements agreement, it is an agreement that is not as intense as what a standard municipal improvements agreement is, but it is the ability that the city has to enter back into the project if the applicant does not complete the required work. We're not going to be requiring a certificate or a bond or a standard agreement for the improvements. So it'll be something that it needs to be completed prior to occupancy or as a condition of occupancy.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and it's normally something that when only sidewalks and other minor improvements to the right of way are required, and Public Works will tell you exactly what needs to be, what they would like to have replaced. I believe Chris Lovell is the gentleman there.
Yes.
What was that name again? I'm so sorry.
Yes, Chris Lovell.
Chris Level?
Lovell.
Lobell. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And he's always very quick in response, so there should be no problem.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Let's see here. Oh, have you submitted for the sewer modules or discussed this with Public Works?
Yes, that is also being done by All County Associates, and it is in progress.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Let's see here. I think that's everything on that. Any questions or comments from the commissioners?
So is this currently operating as a daycare? Is
Yes.
that right? Okay, so they're just adding the apartments. That's the net change.
So the daycare was in there and then it ceased and then they're going to restart up. I don't think they've actually started up again
see.
quite yet.
But
But they have their zoning permit and everything that they need for the daycare. There's just a matter of actually running.
Great. Okay.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Okay. Do I hear a motion to, once I get the right one here, to grant preliminary final land development approval for 1360 North 10th Street Land Development Plan, saldo number 2603-0006.
I'll move it.
Okay. Subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter issued by Hawk Valley Associates dated April 22nd, 2026. And that was James, I believe?
No,
No,
that
it
was
was
me, but I'll second it.
Okay, James will second it. Great. Okay, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Do I hear a motion to authorize the chairman of the planning commission to execute the municipal improvements agreement?
Yeah.
Peter? Second?
I'll second.
Okay, Will? All those in favor, please say aye. Or question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay, very good. We can move that one along. All right, next up, we have 324 Bartlett Street. Is anyone here for this project?
That's me again. I can't answer too many questions about this, but I can try.
What is the time frame on this?
We're good until next month in timing wise. I guess the biggest question that we had is, has there been any updates on contacting the adjacent property owners that currently utilize this property as their driveway?
I believe we are still working on the access agreement.
Okay.
That, I think that, yeah, that's one of the biggest things about this project, and I'm glad to hear that, that you were working on it. Okay.
And so I think just if that hasn't been completely figured out by May's regular meeting, we're going to need a time extension then.
Okay.
Did we get Berks County Planning Commission review letter?
I believe we did. Let me just double check. Yes, we received it on March 19th.
March 19th. Okay, great. So we don't have to worry about that. Okay. So yeah, my recommendation is that we table this project until we get some more details on the access agreement and some of the resolving some of those technical issues that we discussed at the last meeting. Does the applicant understand?
Understood.
Thank you. Okay, do I hear a motion to table the minor subdivision land development plan for 324 Bartlett Street?
So move.
Okay, Nelson? Second? Peter? Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Very good. Well, thank you. We'll see, we'll hopefully see you next month. If there is a problem, please submit a time extension at next month's meeting, and so that we can keep this project going.
Understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we have Alvarez Automotive. Let me get to the right paperwork. There it is. Alvarez Automotive, 1112 to 1116 Butler Street, a preliminary final annexation and land development plan. And I'll turn it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, this is the Alvarez Automotive Annexation and Land Development Plan. This plan was submitted as a preliminary/final plan application. This is the initial review. My review letter was issued April 23rd, 2026. The site does contain two existing parcels of land located at 112 and 1112 and 1116 Butler Street. And in combination, the two lots will equal 9,200 cumulative square feet. The applicant is proposing an automotive repair as well as accessory sales that will include a building as for the proposed repair facilities, and then 10 proposed off-street parking spaces. As mentioned, the site will be located within the MC zoning district and will contain two parcels of land. In combination, there'll be less than the 20,000 square feet required. However, they do meet all the other requirements for the MC zoning district. So therefore, just a simple note that it's a non-conforming lot. We had, in regards to the annexation of the two lots, we had asked that our standard note be placed on the plan and that a draft deed description be provided in order to consolidate the two parcels of land. The proposed point of vehicular ingress and egress shall be located and utilizing an existing 15-foot wide alley. The existing alley is on the alley map. It is in passable conditions or in good shape for driving, so it can be continue to be utilized for this property. There are no existing curbs, sidewalks, or ramps located on this segment of Butler Street. The Public Works Department, in conjunction with the Planning Commission, shall determine if curbs, sidewalks, and ramps would be something that would be considered. As I mentioned, there are no other curbs, sidewalks, or ramps located in this vicinity. A landscaping plan has been submitted and has been already approved by the City of Reading Arborist. The site shall be served by sanitary sewage disposal facilities, and the planning module may be required for this site. It may be required since there's two lots, and if the two lots are less than the 262.5 gallons times two, then it shouldn't need it.
We have a generation
Push the button.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
There we go. Based on this is going to be a one-shop ownership and employee being the same, currently with Mr. Alvarez being in the shop by himself, he's going to generate 10 gallons a day per person. His ultimate goal, should he become busy with his automotive repair facility and sales, he'll have possibly up to 3. So we're talking 30 gallons per day. We're allowed to go up to 262.5 gallons per day. So at this point in time, no planning modules are warranted, because we are less than 1.
Just grab that.
Your word out already.
I do have a comment when it's appropriate.
Okay. So yeah, you got 262.5 times 2.
Yeah, technically, and we're well beyond that, so we're well below that. So I think there's no need for any planning module requirements on this project.
Okay. The fire and rescue will need to assess if there are any fire hydrants or standpipes or other facilities that are required in this area More than likely not.
We did locate a fire hydrant. It is to the north on Butler, approximately 260 feet. So it's well within, fire flow distance relative to fire apparatus. And they can confirm that if they like. But the Dyna view on our subdivision plan isn't large enough to show the actual location of that hydrant.
Okay. They have submitted a stormwater management plan and report, which has been offered for review and consideration. This plan was thoroughly prepared and it appears to be in good shape. The only issues that we have cited are just minor technical issues that need to be addressed. And I think that they can be completed prior to municipal approval. The erosion sedimentation control plan, if necessary.
We are exceeding 5,000 square foot, so we have submitted a earth moving permit to the Berks County Conservation District. That was submitted last week. I do believe, if memory serves me correct, they have a turnaround time of about 3 weeks or so, 3.5 weeks. So hopefully by the time we hear at next month's meeting, we'll have some letter of adequacy relative to our submission.
Okay.
My only question, Jerome, is relative to the stormwater. For our infiltration requirements, you have to demonstrate that each stormwater facility dewaters within a certain time frame. What we actually used is the web soil survey, the hydroconductivity charts. It generates that this particular type of soil will dewater itself within 7 to 24 hours. We took the worst case scenario when we did our calculations, and that's how we came up with it. I feel very comfortable that we're well within the confines of the stormwater ordinance. And I was wondering if, in fact, we could defer, instead of bringing in and doing soil tests now to find out if there's any limiting zone and/or the percolation rate at this particular site, whether once we bring in the construction vehicles, the backhoes, et cetera, if we could defer that testing until that time.
That sounds reasonable. We can note that on the plan. Let's confirm that with Michael Hartman.
Okay.
And see if he agrees. And then also we'll just see if the note's acceptable with Public Works. But I mean,
Right.
it seems like a reasonable request.
Will you be then obtaining a review letter from Public Works relative to their comment on curb and sidewalk? And I believe there was another issue.
That's why I was asking to speak, if I may now. Mr.
Just
Chair.
a couple of things that were noted that were required by the plan review was that the municipal improvements agreement, if necessary, would be a simple agreement. There would be a stormwater management maintenance agreement for this project as well.
Correct.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Don.
Okay, thank you. If I remember correctly, as far as the curb and sidewalk, there was a narrow right of way or rights of way involved. And if that's the case, I have no objection to, and I also heard Jerome say that there's not curb and sidewalk in this area. So I would say that we have no objection to not requiring curbs and sidewalks in this area.
Just so you know, Don, this is one of 2 sections in the city that this comes up in. The other one, of course, is over by Alvernia. And normally the Planning Commission does grant the waiver for no curbs and sidewalks along the main street.
Sounds good. That sounds good to me.
Riverdale as well. Riverdale as well.
And Riverdale as well.
But, I'm just looking at the Google here. It's a mixture. There are curbs. Across the street, there are curbs. So somebody has been putting in curbs if there weren't any there originally. But that's that side of the road where this property is on.
Right.
There are no curbs.
Peter, yeah, to the north of this particular site on Butler, on the opposite side of the street, there is some curb. But for the most part, this entire section or area of the city is without both.
And if I recall correctly, I mean, from a previous review letter, there was a comment regarding like 2-foot wide sidewalks because, you know, that's all that would fit within the right of way. I think it's this project if it's not, but again, no problem with a waiver for me, and then also no concerns regarding the soil testing and the stormwater issue that was raised.
As per Jerome's review letter, we did modify the stormwater report only to include sizing as requested of the underground drain pipes from the garage building itself to the underground stormwater facility. So we did size those, and we will supply a supplemental report addressing just those drain pipes only.
Any questions or comments from the commissioners?
Does the applicant have to request the waiver, or can we just grant that for the sidewalks and curbs?
I believe he needs to submit a request for a waiver in writing. Is that correct?
Yes, I will do so.
But like Don and I said, you know,
This area is warranted.
there's no problem. So,
Okay, thank you.
you know, you can go ahead and make any changes to the plan without.
Actually, everything's been addressed on the plan, and we're ready to resubmit revised plans with exception to making that formal request in writing for a waiver relative to curb and sidewalk.
What's it? We can just make it. Yeah, do we have the section number? That's the only thing I'm missing.
Yeah, he could write it on a piece of paper for us right now.
Yeah, we just need the section number, and I don't have the ordinance in front of me. Okay. Emily's looking it up, so we can take care of it.
While she's looking for that, Mr. Chairman, I'll just state that I agree, because although we try to promote curbs and sidewalks because we promote walkability, when there's a section that there's no other sidewalks or curbs and there would only be one set, it doesn't make sense. And then in this particular case, if they'd only be 2 feet wide, although we have sidewalks even narrower than that, no, it doesn't seem reasonable to mandate it here. So definitely we would entertain that waiver.
The section for blocks and sidewalks is 515-503.
515-503. Very good. That's actually all that we need. Okay, so do I hear a motion to waive the provision of curbs and sidewalks along Butler Street that as required by section 515-503 of the zoning ordinance? Or is that the Saldo? There we go. Okay. Peter? Okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, James. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we have our waiver.
My office will then do a follow-up review, which will be conditions of approval, stating the ones that would still need to be resolved. And I think we can coordinate efforts with Michelle Mayfield on the on the minor municipal improvements agreement, which we would combine then with the stormwater management maintenance agreement.
Yep, agree. Thank you.
And did we receive comments from the Berks County Planning Commission?
Yes, we did. And we're still good on time if we need to table for next month, waiting for the letter of adequacy.
Very good. Jerome, would you prefer to table or conditional approval? Okay, very good. Do I hear a motion to grant preliminary final land development plan approval for the Alvarez Automobile Annexation and Land Development Plan, Saldo 2603-0009, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter issued by Hawk Valley Associates dated March 23rd, 2026?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Will? Excuse me, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay. Do I hear a motion to authorize the chairman of the Planning Commission to execute the municipal improvements agreement and stormwater management agreement?
Yep.
Peter? Second?
Second.
Nelson? Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Planning Commission, thank you very much. Have a nice
Thank you
evening.
very much, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have the Cornerstone on 6th at 201 South 6th Street, the preliminary land development and annexation plan. This is the first time we are taking a look at this, so I'll turn it over to Jerome for the introduction.
Okay. This is the Cornerstone on 6th and Chestnut. It's an annexation and land development plan. This plan has been submitted as a preliminary plan application to the city of Reading. My review letter is dated April 24th, 2026. This is a lengthy review, and I'll attempt to summarize it as best as I can. Secondly, we are also recommending that a technical meeting be held to discuss a variety of comments in regards to traffic as well as stormwater. So going through this, I'll again highlight the project in itself. The project will involve 10 parcels of land, which will contain 44,551 square feet. There are going to be 46 age-qualified residential apartment units with 52 off-street parking spaces. The preliminary plan application included 25 plan sheets, as well as a stormwater management plan, erosion and sedimentation control plan, and a sewage facilities planning module. The site is located within the R3 zoning district, and the applicant has received a special exception for adaptive reuse, as well as zoning variances from the Zoning Hearing Board, which were previously approved on December 13, 2023. As mentioned, the Zoning Hearing Board has granted the approval of the special exception, and there are 5 zoning variances that have also been granted, which I have noted here, just for the applicant's consideration. We have a policy to include the entire Zoning Hearing Board decision on the plan. Fortunately, this is not a lengthy decision, so the key points would be just to have it referenced as far as the Zoning Hearing Board appeal number, the date, and then the conditions of approval. The site is located also within the Prince Historic District, and even though that this is adaptive reuse, they should probably, the City of Reading Historic Commission should also receive a copy of this, and they can provide comments if necessary or if appropriate. Moving down, in terms of the annexation portion of the project, as mentioned, there's 10 parcels to be annexed. A note will be required for the consolidation of the parcels, and a draft deed description will need to be provided. Plan sheets 3, 4, and 5 depict the existing conditions of the plan. These plan sheets should also specify any demolition activities that will be required for the site, and other issues that are going to need to be resolved through the zoning office as well as building and trades office. A landscaping plan has been submitted for review. Our arborist reviews those plans and provides comments, and typically does those in a timely manner. And I didn't get a chance to see it, but he probably already reviewed this. So they did get relief for the buffer. So it's been reduced from 6 feet in width to a reduced width, and they still have attempted to provide the buffer. Oh, okay. Great. What he did. A lighting plan has been submitted, and as per our policy, the lighting facilities shall be consist of downlighting and provided with full cutoff fixtures, and that the lighting be reduced by 50% between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And that can be accomplished by a note. We'll need to have verification if the refuse disposal facility and recycling will be stored outside. If so, then they would need to be encompassed by security fences on the site. If it's going to be internal collection and disposal is going to come from the inside, then that needs to be noted on the plan. The following we had several comments which deal with site accessibility and traffic control. The Planning Commission can determine, or should determine, if a traffic impact study should be required for the site. I suggested in lieu of the requirements, the applicant could consider road improvements along Chestnut, South 6th, and/or Plum Street. Plum Street is where the primary access is going to be. So we might want to take a closer look at that and come to some formal agreement. The parking requirements, we had mentioned, we don't believe a PennDOT HOP will be required unless there's improvements out on Chestnut Street that would involve the cartway. We further suggested that there is a waiver that's going to be requested in order to reduce the 75-foot clear site triangle along the driveway points. And we felt that in lieu of the 75-foot going into the property, that it'd be reduced to 40 feet, which would not then encounter the building itself. It would still basically follow the same path as the distance that they had provided for it in order to provide site distance. So if we need to, we may need to identify if there's going to be parking spaces taking out as a result of that. Skipping through to the parking, loading, and internal site improvements. As mentioned, there are a number of off-street parking spaces, 52. We believe that in looking at the calculations on how to determine for this age-qualified retirement community, they exceed that considerably. We think that along the building itself, there might be a better opportunity to add handicap parking spaces since it's going to be for 62 years and over. There are some other comments which we did provide for parking and accessibility. There are comments also for curbs, sidewalks, and ramps. The curbs, sidewalks, and ramps along South 6th Street and Chestnut Street are in fair condition. However, as a result of all the activities that are going to be constructed during construction, demolition, and the like, more than likely, these would need to be replaced once the work has been completed. So a municipal improvements agreement will be necessary for those activities. We had recommended that also that the pedestrian connections to the main entrances also be provided and enhanced. The age-qualified retirement community will also be served by sanitary sewage disposal facilities, and if necessary, the required sewage facilities planning modules will be required, and you can do that as part of the final plan application.
We have submitted that.
You'll also need to go through have a will serve letter for the municipal water supply facilities. The fire and rescue department will need to weigh in on the determination if they have proper site accessibility or if they need dedicated fire lanes for this type of facility. Not sure if since it is age qualified, but it's not assisted living, if there is a difference for their needs. We have some comments on relative to stormwater management on this site. This will be a combination of infiltration and storage and release to the existing stormwater management facility. For all intents and purposes, the activities appear to be acceptable. The infiltration bed storage volume used is for DEP, is part of the DEP requirements. So it's apparent that that's going to be acceptable. Easements will be required, and we have some just general comments that will need to be addressed. If necessary, an erosion and sedimentation control plan will be required. We require that a letter of adequacy be issued prior to final plan approval. We then asked for a series of notes to be added to the plan, which are basically our standards. And those should be added. If there's any questions, please contact me. The Berks County Planning Commission shall review the plan and provide their comments at this phase. The certifications of ownership and accuracy will need to be completed during final plan. A municipal improvements agreement and a stormwater management maintenance agreement will be required. So that sums up the comments.
Did we receive Berks County Planning Commission comments on this?
No, not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Just so the applicant knows, we are not permitted to make any, we are required to table the plan until Berks County Planning Commission submits their letter of review. Don, do you have any preliminary comments?
I guess the one question involves the traffic study. I tend to agree with Jerome, but how many people are going to be here, and how many cars estimated will be involved with this project?
Sure. So we have 46, Bill Fredericks, our GS. We engineer a plan. I do have Rob Cronin, the attorney on the project, and I do have Ed and Chris back there, who are the applicants. Ed is with Landis as part of the senior component, and Chris is with HDC, the affordable living component. So if you do have any questions for any of us, we are here. It is 46 total units. It is a affordable and senior targeted. So typically those trips in the peak hour are quite minimal. I don't have exact numbers right off the top of the bat, but it is fairly minimal. We did provide 52 spaces just to account for if each unit had a car, plus some employees or our employees in an office within that building. But I believe the requirement from the zoning ordinance is 9 spaces. So typically the trips are pretty minimal. I do know there's some comments in here about public transportation or private transportation, I think that is a fair comment. And I think we could look at areas maybe for an Uber parking or something, because I think that's probably what's mostly going to be utilized rather than individual cars. But I know HDC has done their own parking studies and how many people actually have cars, and it's usually fairly minimal at these types of facilities.
Okay. I'm good with what Jerome said as far as not requiring a full-blown traffic study. Thank you.
Okay. Does the applicant have anything else to present?
It's 46 units of affordable and senior housing. We did get some zoning variances. Appreciate the coordination with the city. We did do the one stop and have at that meeting, I know we talked through fire. Just a point of clarification, I would say our main access point is on off 6th Street, not Plum. Plum was open as part of the discussions in the one stop to make sure the fire truck, if it had to pull in the parking lot, could keep driving straight through and make those turns. I think what I want the fire to make sure they verify is that the curb radii are big enough. We've run the turns, but that would be the one thing I just want to make sure fire verifies, is that they're happy with the curb radii. We could always make them bigger. There is a stormwater infiltration under the parking lot. For the dumpster question, valid question, they have an internal system at the very end of the bottom of the L shape. Yep, towards the parking lot. Yep, right about there. They have it internal, and then they have like a garage door to essentially take it out. We'll schedule that meeting. That's very fair.
Yeah, I would recommend that this technical meeting be a site meeting, since that way we can look at some of the things with you directly and then walk the site. And if there are any further discussions, we can accommodate those either at the site meeting, or we can do that back and forth through, if you need further clarification, we can provide that by email and get you back on track.
Sure.
So with the main access on 6th Street, that will require an HOP?
Only if there's going to be modifications to the driveway entrance, or if there are improvements to the cartway.
I don't believe 6th Street's a PennDOT road. I think it's just Chestnut.
Just Chestnut.
I think if we did anything on Chestnut, which is the north one, that requires the HOP. I'm pretty sure 6 is not an HOP, or is not a PennDOT road.
I believe that is correct.
Because there is an existing curb cut in 6th Street for the existing building that's getting shifted south on 6th Street to the new location.
And it'll be 22 feet.
Yes. Yep. Sorry. Everything is 22 feet. Yep.
Okay. Then that would just require a driveway permit from
Zoning, I believe. I think I need a zoning for it.
Yeah, that'll require just a standard driveway permit through Public Works, and that all gets coordinated during the final plan.
Great. Let's see here. Okay. Any questions or comments from the commissioners?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is Will.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you. If I'm understanding correctly from what we saw with the plans and the photographs, there's going to be some demolitions of what appear to be houses on Plum Street. I did not see street view photographs. Is that correct?
That is correct. There are 2 houses on Plum Street. It would be at the very bottom right of the plan. Those 2 would be demolished. And I believe there was a demo permit issued for some work already, and I'm told some demo work is happening now or will be happening very, very shortly.
Yeah, on the plan view itself, it does show all the surrounding properties, and they do identify all the adjacent property owners. And I suspect that was done for when the plan went through a special exception application and zoning variance application, that those property owners be notified.
Right, thank you. I was just curious because, as you mentioned, the project is in the Prince Street Historic District, so we'll see what the Historic Architecture Review Board has to say. So just concerned about that. I'm favorable for the project, but just concerned about that, and of course, I would ask for some condition be that any, yeah, the way I did not see that. Thank you. Oh, they're terrible. Okay. But I would, that's good to know. That's what I wanted to say. If these are something, because sometimes we demolish buildings that look very nice, at least on the facade. But I would still ask, because it is in the historic district, although these facades appear to be nondescript, that if there is anything inside, any features worth conserving, that they be conserved if it is physically possible to do so. But now that I see these, that's okay. Would this telephone pole be moved? Or utility pole?
That I don't believe so. I think our entrance avoids it.
Okay.
But it would be green space and where these buildings are now, I believe from the plan. It's part
Okay,
of that.
thank you. That was helpful to see that. Thank you.
And we did submit for the historic board and have presented for them at least once, and I believe that was part of the zoning application at the time. And I know we do have to go back, and I know the architect is preparing that. It is an adaptive reuse of that building. That building is a little dilapidated. Ceiling has collapsed. So they are preserving as much of the facade. Obviously, some of that building does come down. Mainly the newer portions, kind of the shed type of buildings, pool buildings type of thing. But the intent is to reuse and enhance the existing facade as to the greatest extent possible. So we will be in front of the historic board if we haven't been already.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're talking about the main industrial building. You're going to, and I noticed the roof is missing. It's one of the most dilapidated factories in our city. You're going to try to conserve what you can of it. That's good to know. Thank you.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, if you can't, you can't for safety, but if you can, why not?
I will also mention that the houses on Plum Street, I believe almost all of them are on the blighted property list.
There's a few of them.
Yeah. I remember taking a look at this about 5 or 6 years ago. So it's good to see that a number of these blighted properties will be removed and taken care of.
Resolved. Couple blighted houses and a blighted industrial building as well. So
Yeah.
very happy to see this happen. Yeah.
I was one of the founders of the Blighted Property Review Committee. Will served on the review committee, and Peter is now our representative. So we are very glad to see this.
Very glad.
I asked, did we receive Berks County Planning Commission comments? No. Okay. I think I asked that before. P. Submission for the sewer module. Oh, the waiver for the 40 feet, we usually take care of that at the final, the first time you submit for your final plan submission. Just so you know that, because that way you can do your technical meeting and then any changes that come from that meeting, you can incorporate usually quite easily. Okay. Any other comments from the commissioners? Okay. Anything else, Don?
No, thank you.
Okay. Great. Anything from the applicant?
Nothing from us. No.
Okay. Remember, we are always here in case you have a question.
Appreciate that. And we'll schedule that meeting with Jerome and anyone else that needs to be a part of that. We'll revise plans, get it resubmitted. And again, we think it's a great project. Appreciate the city's coordination. We did get a zoning permit back in 2023. We got a couple extensions as we were waiting for the PHFA financing. So now that it's here, we are full steam ahead.
Yeah, great.
Scheduled the site meeting with Emily and Simon, the planning office.
I'll send out an email to coordinate with everyone and align schedules.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Talking about zoning, anything from zoning, or was this pretty well straightforward?
Oh, from what this was a couple years back, from
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
remember.
Emily was in the zoning department at that time.
Yeah, I did the staff report for this one. No, it was pretty straightforward. And they did their due diligence and they were on top of it, making sure that they got their extension requests in, as they awaited funding and everything. So, it's just now getting all the ducks in a row and getting everything done.
Okay. PHFA is the
Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. And just kind of going back a few years, Rob Cronin here, one of the attorneys on the project, just going back a few years when we initially presented for zoning, we were pretty transparent at that time that in order to obtain that financing through low-income housing tax credits, it's extremely competitive. And we would typically anticipate that it may take at least one full round, possibly 2 rounds, in order to receive an allocation from PHFA of those low-income housing tax credits. And speaking on behalf of the applicants, the co-developers that are here with us tonight, we're very excited to receive that allocation. And now, as we are talking about moving this project forward to develop this affordable senior housing community here in the city, taking advantage of the adaptive reuse provisions of the zoning ordinance to, kind of what we feel develop a great project for the senior members of the community.
Mhm.
I will also mention that it was a while ago, but I know you did have some community meetings.
That is correct. There were community meetings, kind of discussing the project and, I'll call it the vision of the project and the intent of the project at that time. So those have been done.
We really appreciate your attention to detail. Oftentimes, we've run into quite a few problems because of people not attending to the details. But I noticed that the signs hanging on the building for the community meetings and everything. I am glad to see this project. I used to live up the street 30 years ago, 32 years ago. So this is a fantastic project. Does anyone else have any other comments? Okay, hearing none. Do I hear a motion to table the preliminary plan for the Cornerstone on 6th Annexation and Land Development Plan, saldo number 2604-0010? Peter?
So move.
Nelson? Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay, I thought I heard everybody. Very good. Thank you very much. Once again, we look forward to your next submission. Okay. Next up, we have a waiver request for 1034 Penn Street. I'll turn that over to Emily.
Yes, so this is an adaptive reuse project at 1034 Penn Street. There is currently a restaurant that is in operation. And then they did get zoning hearing board approval for the addition of 2 apartments on the upper floors, one on the second, one on the third. Through zoning hearing board appeal 2502-0012. The building's already existing. They're not doing any expansion of the building, and they do have on-site parking. It is existing. They just need to repave it and redo the lines and everything. And so this is all interior work and just improvements of existing facilities. They are where they need to do sewer planning modules for the addition of the 2 units on the upper floors. And so, again, it's all internal. However, the definition of land development would classify this as a minor land development, and so they're asking for a waiver. They have been in contact with the fire marshal, and based on their waiver request letter, they are aware of all the other code requirements before they get their certificate of occupancy. So we're comfortable with recommending approval of the waiver request. However, and I think the owner is on the Zoom, but when this originally went to zoning hearing board, the site plan indicated 12 parking spaces, and the site plan that was submitted only shows 9. They do have enough space, I believe, to add a couple more. We would just ask that a minimum of 10 be provided. That would provide the minimum parking amount for all uses at the property, with the understanding that if there is any increase in seating or employee count, that minimum amount will increase, but also any increase in the seating would require zoning hearing board approval, since this is the R3 district and the restaurant is non-conforming. And so I can answer any questions that the commission may have.
Any comments? Any comments from the applicant?
No.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners?
I don't have a question, Mr. Chair. Just want to note for the record, it's located in the Penn's Common Historic District, but I have no objection to the waiver.
Very good. All right. With that, do I hear a motion to grant a waiver from land development for 1034 Penn Street with the condition of that at least one more parking space, parking stall be created for a minimum of 10 parking spaces as part of the resurfacing of the surface parking area?
Yep, Peter.
Peter? Second? Nelson? Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, very good. We wish you very much success with your project.
Thank you.
And next up, we have the plans requiring reaffirmation. First is the Sixth and Spring parking lot, which that project is finished, correct, bro?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it has been inspected, and it has been recommended that final release of the escrow account be considered.
I will, since this is a block away from my house, I will comment that it's a very, very nice project. They did a lot more than I was expecting them to do, and it really meets, I think it exceeds all our requirements. It took the applicant a few years to get everything in place, but he was very patient and created a great project. Do I hear a motion to reaffirm the preliminary final plan approval for the Sixth and Spring parking lot land development plan, PC number 2022-108, originally conditionally approved on August 23rd, 2022, resolution number 49-2022. Peter? Okay, second? I'll second that. Get my name in there. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay. Next up, we have reaffirmation of 138 South 8th Street. If someone could remind me what this is.
This was a property where they added 3 dwelling units to the building, so there's going to be 6 total apartments. And in conjunction, they were annexing the adjacent parcels to maintain the parking with the building. I am still waiting on the official, like the form filled out for the reaffirmation. I had a conversation with their engineer, Tom Ludgate, and so he's aware that I need that. They are also going to need a simple maintenance improvements agreement, and that I believe has been drafted or will be drafted soon, so that way they can get that in, so we can record their plan and get them squared away.
So should we move this to next month?
I know previously the commission has previously approved it with the condition that the actual request itself be submitted by the end of the week. I don't know if you'd want to do that. I'm okay with it being moved to next month as well, because they were made aware of the need of this form. So it's up to the commission.
This developer is also working with the bank, and they have been trying to follow up to see how fast it is moving. If the commission will be lenient to approve it, then we can take the responsibility of following up to make sure the requirements are met.
Okay, I think we can, yeah, now I remember this one. I don't know why I blanked on this. I used to live across the street. Very
There's many places in the city.
Yes, in fact, where this parking lot is in 1994. Yeah, I was graduating. In 1994, it was an empty lot, and a lady shot her boyfriend to death on that lot. So it was a pretty rough neighborhood back then. Okay, do I hear a motion to reaffirm the preliminary final plan approval for 138 South 8th Street Annexation and Land Development Plan, PC number 2023-17, originally conditionally approved on March 26, 2024, resolution number 21-2024, with the provision that the request for reaffirmation be submitted by the end of the week.
So move.
Yeah.
Okay, Nelson? Okay, second?
Mm-hmm.
Peter?
Mm-hmm.
Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, hearing none. We move on to the reaffirmation of building number 163 tactic consolidation for Carpenter Technologies.
Yeah, this is just one of those cleanup items where everything is pretty much done, but it was caught that they hadn't recorded their plan for the formal release of the zoning permit and everything else. So this is just so that way they can record their plan. They have coordinated with me for submission of their plans for signing.
Okay, great. Okay, any question on this? All right. To reaffirm the preliminary final, do I hear a motion to reaffirm the preliminary final plan approval for the Carpenter Technologies Building 163 tactic consolidation at 1001 Schuylkill Avenue, saldo number 2506-0013, originally conditionally approved on August 26th, 2025, resolution number 2025-53.
Sure.
Okay, Peter? Second?
Second.
Okay, James?
That was Will.
Oh, that was Will?
Mhm.
Okay, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Move on to the next one. Okay, next is the Oak Brook Community Recreation Field Improvements, which I think we only had one meeting on this, so.
There's been a little bit of an update, but I'll allow him to provide that.
Oh, that's great. We always love to hear what's going on over there.
I apologize. I did do all the comments, but we ran into a little bit of a problem was when we did the ball fields, the dugout, it was grant money. So we had to spend the grant money within, I think, 30 or 60 days. And we made some changes. I did do the comments, but we just never resubmitted the plans for that to go through the final process of doing the recording of them. But now through the delay of submitting the plans, they actually have another project right adjacent to this one. I don't know if you have the plan. You can see they actually tie together. There's a walkway. See if she has them. Okay.
While she's looking, the plan that was previously approved was for the dugouts.
The dugout, 2 dugouts, the ball field, a walking trail, and like some picnic tables and that, and some trees along the walking trail.
So we were under the perception that the plan was recorded, was approved and recorded, and then that the improvements that they had completed, which they hit rock, so they had to do an alternative design for the stormwater. And it was determined that they would do that as part of an as-built plan. But since they didn't record the plan, we can then consider just including that information. You can include it as an as-built if you want.
What we're doing now?
Yeah.
Yeah. What we're proposing now is along the walking trail, there's a path walking over to the garage, which is going to be a snack bar, and they're going to attach restrooms to the back of it. And the whole existing playground is already ripped out, which that playground was paving with those rubber tiles on top of it. The new playground will be like rolled, kind of like you see on running tracks at high schools, but the water goes through the track. So then it'll just be porous underneath, either be sand and some gravel. They are proposing a generator yet then to back up the new building for the daycare that they have there. And then a sign. Those are the three. Oh, and a pavilion too. So this is all additional to the current project that they just finished. Yes.
Sorry, I'm still trying to pull up the newer plan.
Yeah, it's all on the same parcel, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all, and they do connect. The same parcel, they do connect it into each other.
Okay, great. Any questions from the commissioners?
The updated plans were submitted to the zoning office, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I can forward those plans to everyone to take a look.
Okay.
But yeah, we figured that since they have this other project, instead of having them submit a whole.
Unfortunately, they have one small 8.5 by 11.
I can forward it to them. It's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, no,
But yeah,
couldn't be a problem.
in contacting them to get the plan recorded, to reaffirm to record, when they told me that they had a project right there, I didn't feel the need for them to submit a whole brand new land development plan. We can just add it, revise their original plan. And then that way, it'll just be included in what was previously submitted. Since, kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone, since we have the opportunity.
Yeah, I completely agree. Does anyone have any objection?
That's right to here.
No.
Hearing none. Do Do I hear a motion to reaffirm the preliminary final plan approval for the Oak Brook Community Recreation Field improvements at 1001 Liggett Avenue? Saldo number 2507-0018, originally conditionally approved on August 26, 2025, resolution number 2025-57. Okay. Peter?
So move.
Okay. Nelson? Question on the motion?
Yes, are they supposed to submit as built, or we're holding off on that?
It's all gonna be part of the land development plan since they have it. They're just gonna revise their previously submitted plan.
Okay.
I did find the one with the new facilities. This is what's gonna be added onto the previous plans.
That's where all the original playground equipment is, but that's the new equipment there. The four, right where the yellow box popped in, that's where the pavilion will be. And then right behind the garage, there's another rectangle right up from the cursor. The restroom area here, this pavilion here, this is all playground equipment. And then if we can bring it down just a little bit.
We can't hear now.
I'm away from.
No, sorry. Sorry, he's just saying, so right here, where my cursor is,
Here would be the generator, street side right at one section. So I explained everything we did here, daycare.
So-
Storm there, everything.
for those on Zoom, this area right here, this is the daycare with the store. This has a generator right here. Down here in this corner is the new pavilion. And then these are bathroom facilities, all brand new, and then the playground equipment all around here.
And again, like I said, down the bottom corner where the restrooms are, that ties right into the other, the development we did do.
Jerome, we can only have 4 mics on at a time, that's why.
Oh. Yeah, I forgot about that. Very good. Any other questions on the motion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. We look forward to your submission and our signatures.
Thank you.
On it.
I think I didn't I submit a complete set of the plans now electronically? I think I did just for,
I think you did for the zoning office. If you could just resend them to me, because I don't
I'll resend.
don't think I have it.
All right, I'll resend the whole set because I add everything in there to make it one complete set now.
Okay, I may have, if you want to come here and just verify if these are the sets of plans. These, or was there a different set?
No, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, no, there's a different set.
Okay, if you could just send that to me. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, very good. We've confirmed which set we need, so we will move on to the, thank you. We really appreciate the update and yeah, we look forward to signing the plans. Next up, plans requiring time extensions is the North Reading Plaza at 1853 North 3rd Street. It's a preliminary land development plan. How long of an extension are they asking for?
They are asking for an extension until the end of the year.
Okay, so December 31st.
Yes.
Okay, Any questions? Okay, do I hear a motion to grant a time extension until December 31st for the review of the North Reading Plaza preliminary land development plan at 1853 North Third Street? Okay,
I'll
Peter?
move it.
Who was that? Was that James?
What? Second, I will. Second.
Okay. And here, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Very good. Okay, next up, the parking and loading ordinance. You want to take this one, Jerome, or do you want to take it?
Jerome will
Sign
take
it.
that.
Yes, this is part 16 of the zoning ordinance. These are the zoning amendments that have been in place for some time, have not been changed. The ones with the red markings were initially revised, and then with the blue markings, it's been the final revisions. But the revisions have not changed since you've last looked at those several months ago.
I'm not seeing blue. Hardly any blue.
The bottom footer. Oh, okay. There's a few.
Yes, I was running out of time, so I was printing on both of my printers before the before I came to the meeting. So these are ready for recommendation to City Council? Okay. Very good. Any question on the parking and loading ordinances, part 16 of the zoning ordinance? Okay. Do I hear a motion to recommend to City Council to amend part 16 of the zoning ordinance as submitted? Peter?
So move.
Okay. Nelson? Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Okay, an update to the transit-oriented development ordinance.
Well, these ordinances have been through the planning commission and the staff for quite some time. The last version that the consultant provided following the meeting that we had on 9th of April was shared on Friday with the planning commission. This is considered to be the last draft that has been put together, and at this point we are coming to the commission to request for a recommendation so that this can move forward to the council for consideration.
Have you guys done much with it since the consultants finished it?
Yes, on 9th we did have a meeting, and there were a number of comments that were included in there. And the consultant went back and included those comments as part of the final revision.
I do see quite a bit highlighted in yellow here.
Highlighted in yellow, is that what was, is that additions or rewording or change? What does the yellow mean?
Those were the additions that were put in after the last draft following the meeting that we had on 9th of April. Mainly we had recommendations from Linda as part of council representation and also the planning commission. And we had a number of staff also share some thoughts in addition to what was already written.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Will.
It sounds like we've reviewed this proposal thoroughly over the many months, but it sounds like the changes that were submitted that none of us had a chance to review them. If Simon, if you would kindly summarize the changes, I think it would be helpful for us.
Actually, I could do that very quickly
great.
since they are highlighted here. Yeah, I got the color one for this one.
Yes,
This one came
but
off.
I
the
don't
color
have a
print.
copy, Will, sorry about that.
That came out of your color printer?
Yeah. Um, a number of these changes have to do with parking structures and underground parking, because we recommended having incentives for underground parking. And so there are a few additions, like the following uses are permitted by special exception within the TOD overlay district. Parking structures should serve a use within the TOD overlay district where the underlying district is in the CN or the CR district. Few additions to some of the wording to clarify things. Clarification on underground parking. Some clarification on lighting. We also, you might remember that I complained that there were specifications for benches, trash receptacles, and other things that they recommended specific items, and I said that we already have existing standards for the downtown for these things, so that's been changed. Oh, and then that whole thing about wayfinding, they simplified that by just saying a wayfinding fee, that so that the planning commission or whoever gets the job gets to standardize the wayfinding signs. A few minor additions to the definitions, and that's it.
Thank you.
It actually looks a lot better with those changes.
Yes.
Sir,
Yeah, the benches was something we were concerned about. Yep.
the zoning, the terminology, right,
Mm.
that it didn't match the terminology that the city had adopted for zoning language. Has that been rectified, or?
No, ultimately, the proposed draft will be amended to personalize the zoning amendments to make it more cohesive with the rest of the City of Reading zoning ordinance. We made several attempts to have the consultant do that, but it wasn't going anywhere.
So, also, one of the things we noted is that some of the zoning language is more described to us, like we understand it much more. This kind of ordinance being done by an external consultant, we found it difficult for him to fully embrace what we're asking for.
Yeah.
So that's why we propose it continues, and then we shall take time to look at it as time goes on.
Do we want to do that before we approve it, though?
It's up to administration.
Yeah.
This one thing I'm trying to wrap my head around is, when you overlay this on the baseline zoning areas that you have on the map, the zoning map, what is the net change? What distinguishes it from what is default?
It's an overlay over several zoning districts, mostly focusing around the central, the CC zoning district and extending outwards, more so to also consider the transit element of it. So the intent is to provide opportunities beyond adaptive reuse, which would consider redevelopment, revitalization, and also for new development to occur with some favorable zoning that would enhance or attract developers to develop within that overlay district.
Right, but that's where the rubber meets the road, is actually what are the incentives? Right? So, the intent, promote economic development within the overlay district. Well, there is an underlying intent to promote economic development already, right? So what's the tangible benefit to developers? I'm just, I'm recapping the purpose and intent here. So promote and encourage pedestrian-oriented, dense, walkable, mixed-use developments. That sounds great. But what are the actual?
There's some density
benefit
enhancements that allow you for redevelopment. I mean, it's the same as the adaptive reuse per se.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if you look in there is a framework that gives out, kind of guidelines of how some of the response, like for example, development is going to happen in some areas. There is a table that the consultant included down there. It kind of, if you look at it, it gives a breakdown in a kind of a flexible way, kind of giving an idea of how the operation or development should happen within the overlay district. And I think when the ordinance is talking about promoting economic development, they're referring to the fact that there is flexibility around that kind of development, where specific breakdown has been given within the ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm sort of on the same thought process here. That is, if there is not a takeaway for a developer, then it's just nice words, right? What is it the developer actually, will developers take this and respond to it? Is it sufficient to entice them to do certain things, to create development that otherwise wouldn't occur? So now I understand there's some density benefits or some parking benefits. There's, again, in my conversation with some developers, it was a nothing burger. It was not compelling. So now that's,
some of the compliance criteria is also a little bit overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
In order to meet the criteria. So I think it needs to be simplified a little bit more. I mean, just like we did adaptive reuse, that's gone through many edits and revisions to where it's at now. And it was just a matter of making sure that we could attract redevelopment opportunities within the city of Reading, and adaptive reuse has made its effort. This is to take it a step further, but I think we'll have to make adjustments to it in order to make it work better in the future. This was not our specific project.
Mm-hmm.
This was a county project. So we're trying to work with them on getting this to the finish line.
And at this point where we are, the consultant who worked on this ordinance is basically finalized it. His contract is kind of finalized. So he will not have anything to do with them again. At this point, these ordinances now have officially been given to the city.
Yep.
The only channel we're going to have is for, if we want to make those improvements and make sure it corresponds to the need within the city, is for us to own it, adapt it, then break it down at the moment and then look in areas where we need to address for it to fit in with our current ordinances.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, there was a meeting, RATS meeting, which was conducted by the county, and one of the developers, I think he's on 700 Lancaster, he basically reached out. He has some significant project, and he's quite excited about the fact that we are introducing the TOD overlay and ordinances that should help him to improve on a project. So he's going to submit his application. So I think in terms of development, there are some developers who are looking at this as a positive ordinance, and they're already prepared and looking forward to when we finalize it so that they can jump on the opportunity.
And just like with adaptive reuse, again, I mean, we received some criticism for certain things that we were attempting to do, and we simplified it even further and gave more opportunities in order to achieve what our ultimate goal was revitalization, redevelopment, rehabilitation of certain uses. Hopefully this can be considered the same way, and we'll have to see what type of criticism is out there from the actual private development community.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I understand its intent. I hope it's enough. Yeah. That I hope it's enough to trigger, you know, the development activity we want.
Yeah. And and most of the ordinance is about new construction. And there aren't that many parcels that are available for new construction. The adaptive reuse takes care of existing buildings, I believe. So I think, yeah, I think the biggest thing is working on the underground parking. So that if they have residential space above the commercial spaces, that the people have a place to park that live there. But this is also going to have to work in coordination with changes to the parking garages downtown, which there's actually on Nextdoor, there was a very long thread of people complaining about parking in the downtown, and and how inconvenient it can be because the parking authority makes it inconvenient. I never listen to people who complain about how much it is to park, because the last time I was in Syracuse for one evening in parking, it cost me $55. It doesn't cost $55 to park here in Reading, and Syracuse isn't that much bigger than Reading is, but it cost me $55 to park at on two different parking spaces in one night. So yeah, so there are considerations that need to be made. Moving on to the CC and MC district.
Let me.
Go ahead.
I mean,
Peter?
What would we like to do with it now? I mean, what's the? How do we go forward with this? I understand the interest in having special circumstances for this zone to encourage development, of the style that is indicated in this TOD. So whether the wording is right or not, or whether it needs additional work over time, what is the go forward action for us?
I think we need to look at a marketing effort in order to let people know that these provisions are in place. We probably have to have the willingness to work with them. If they struggle to find how they can comply, we need to resolve those issues with them. And like I said, we did that with adaptive reuse, and now we're able to, the adjustments we have made has made it very flexible for redevelopment and revitalization. This approach is at the initial stage, and we need to make sure we can make adjustments to, again, make it work.
Yeah, I mean, there's there's an argument for, adapting the CRIS map to suit this district. It's big, so we likely can't accommodate the whole thing. But as it stands now, the CRIS map is, Main Street, Washington Street, and, a few other sites, in and around the Penn Optical Building and a couple Canal Street sites, but otherwise, the bulk of that area is not carrying the CRIS support.
So once this project is adopted by the city of Reading, it now becomes we now own it. And then therefore we can make whatever adjustments we feel are necessary. We provided so many recommendations and don't know how far they've gotten up the ladder, but we got partial. And they obviously had to go through the county in order to see if they thought that was acceptable based upon the goals and objectives that are stated within the overlay district itself. And I think we could also look at possible ways to make modifications to the area itself. I mean, as time goes on, we fine-tuned that quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I know we did, and
that's where we had the most say.
Yeah. No, it was too big before, but yeah. Okay, so you're saying that to get the city of Reading to adopt it.
Yeah, at this point, our request to the commission was we adopted this ordinance. Once we have adopted it, it gives us an opportunity as a city to really critically sit down with it. And even if it means, we shall be required to provide education to our developers, we shall go up to that length to make sure people understand it and it is implementable. One thing I wanted to say that as an ordinance, it may have a broad language like it is having, but with critical sitting down and reviewing it and addressing some of the areas, it should be able to pretty much align with what we have already.
Yeah, and it's also, there's nothing highly objectionable to what's in there. It's just a matter of simplification in order to be consistency with our language, and then also so that the developer can understand it and then also say, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't think
that's the key, is we want the developer to say more than one.
Yeah, so there are no real objectionable requirements in there that it's going to, someone comes in and wants to develop a site, it's not going to be objectionable development. It's just a matter of attracting the developer to come in and look at these provisions and say, yeah, I can see that I can do this.
So this replaces the development rights for those zones with a set of rights, developer rights or development rights that are.
No, the underlying landowners can still utilize their property and also develop their property in accordance with the underlying zoning districts. So the overlay is just an option.
Okay.
So it's not taking, say, for example, they're located in the R3 or CC zoning district, they can still develop the site in accordance with those provisions. If someone wants to do adaptive reuse, they can still do it in accordance with our adaptive reuse provisions. So it's not taking those options away. It's just a supplement.
All right.
And I feel the same. I don't think it will interfere much with CRIS, even though we have it as an.
No. I'm not saying it would interfere with the CRIS. I think in order to be yet more attractive and therefore more likely to get acted upon, if more elements of it were in the CRIS, that would accelerate the development activity. Right? It's a financial incentive. Which, there's a lot of commercial uses in here that the CRIS would support, right? Program supports. So, there's an opportunity to make those maps align and therefore get more action out of it. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
They're not in contention. It's just the map.
Yeah.
CRIS map as it exists now supports maybe, a third of that landmass. Not not half or not a whole. Okay. Well, probably actually only a quarter of it if you go building by building, but yeah. All right, so you're looking for an approval today?
Yeah, well,
Recommendation.
a recommendation today
A recommendation to the
yes.
city council to
adapt.
to adapt it,
Yes.
to adopt it. Mhm. So not to move on at the table.
Yeah, okay. And let's do that.
Okay. Fair enough. No, I mean, the objectives are great. My interest is getting them to happen, that it's not just another nice to do idea that sits on the shelf. That actually development occurs, or more development occurs because of it. So.
Okay, any other comments on the transit-oriented development ordinance? Okay, do I hear a motion to recommend to City Council to amend the, let's see here, what have I got here first? To amend the subdivision and land development ordinance to incorporate the Reading Transit-Oriented Development Overlay District as submitted.
I'll do that.
So move.
Okay. Okay. So, Peter? Okay, and that was Nelson?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. And then next up, do I hear a motion to recommend to City Council to amend the zoning ordinance to include the Reading Transit-Oriented Development Overlay District zoning amendment as presented?
Sure.
So move.
Okay, Peter? Nelson? Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
Getting work done here, guys.
Okay, there we go. Okay, one more. Let's see here. We have an update here for the permitted uses in the commercial core and the manufacturing commercial district. Any questions on this? These are just basically updating the uses. Is that correct?
Yes, so it will make adaptive reuse permitted by right in the CC and MC zoning district. They do still need to meet the criteria detailed in 1201, I believe, in the section for special exceptions, even though it won't be a special exception. They still need to meet that criteria. If they want any modifications to the habitable area, that would then still require special exception. So that's to make it permitted by using the CC and the MC. And it's also changing taverns and nightclubs to be permitted by right in the CC district as opposed to being by conditional use. This was previously approved at the January 27th meeting. I wasn't sure if this needed a reaffirmation. We are going to be scheduled for council for the public hearing on May 18th. This is also to supplement the downtown housing grant program that was just presented at council. And so it's going to remove a roadblock to those grant recipients.
Mhm.
Okay, any question on these changes? Okay, hearing none. Do I hear a motion to recommend to City Council to amend Section 600-807 and Section 600-811 of the zoning ordinance as submitted? Peter,
Do that.
second?
Second.
Okay, Nelson? Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, very good. All right, is there anyone here for public comment? Okay. Oh, okay. Any comments, Dave or Jamie?
I can,
Okay, hearing none?
there
Can you
there
hear
is
me? I'm
something-
sorry. Can you hear me?
Oh, hi, Dave.
Hi, thank you. I just want to thank you, commissioners, for these decisions this evening. The TOD support, the recommendation for council, and as well as the adaptive reuse by right in the MC. These are going to be key to the, I think, future development in the city. And Peter, I agree with your comments about the CRIZ zone. So I want to thank you very much for these. These have been something I think we've been trying to push through for many months now. So thank you again. I appreciate this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Over.
Okay, thank you, Dave. We received an email from Don Edwards about some key city projects.
Mhm.
One of the things that we were talking about last week, I believe it was the zero,
Vision zero.
the Vision Zero.
Yes.
And that started out as the traffic calming ordinances. Don writes here that we should be receiving that information soon. The two things that I do want to make public is that, when I talk to the public, I hear a lot about paving of the streets. And for the 2025 paving year, Don points out that we are finishing the remaining $1 million worth of work. So it's not like we're just, spending a few pennies on paving here in the city.
Fortunately, $1 million doesn't get you.
Yeah, it doesn't
a whole
go
lot.
very far. But for 2026, he mentions our engineer is finishing the bidding documents for about $2.2 million worth of work. So I just want to commend Public Works, because there was a time when we were doing no paving. When I first moved here to the city 37 years ago, there was no paving going on. It's a big turnaround. Do you have any comments about that, Don?
Nothing more than I feel good about where the city's heading. Not only with our infrastructure that I mentioned in that email, but also, tonight with the full agenda and the different projects that are going on. And I'm just feeling optimistic that we're heading in the right direction with all of this, my opinion.
If I may, Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to echo what is being said, not only by Dave. I want to thank all the commissioners for supporting these initiatives that are certainly going to progress the city. And it can't be emphasized enough that we are progressing and that streets are being paved. And I will say, council, we just got a list this year of streets that are going to be paved this summer, and we're looking forward to that. I know specifically, I'm happy to see like there's a specific street down on Orange Street. It's an alleyway, and it's just I can't express my gratitude enough for having that. Like we are as good as our weakest link. And when we start investing into these pockets of neighborhoods, even though we're not doing right all the whole street, but we are investing and as a city little by little, and I can see the change, and I can see my neighbors. They're happy around the neighborhood, and so we are certainly moving forward. And I do thank the commission for the support that they provide and the long hours.
And thank you, Don from Public Works, Don Edwards, for the updates. Appreciate it.
Yep, anytime.
Yeah, I second that. We haven't received that before, so thank you, Dan, for that. And I'm
You're
also optimistic in the direction of the city.
very welcome.
Okay, any other comments or from the commissioners or staff?
This afternoon, just to mention something, this afternoon, there was a conversation going on about blighted properties. And one of the things that David threw around for us to think about was the fact that the row homes are the overwhelming majority of the blighted properties the city experiences. And his question was, would it be feasible for us to be bringing, each of these property to the commission every time we identify one for them to say, we recommend, or it will be much easier for us to make a blanket recommendation so that the city can embark on developing these properties to move forward. So,
Well, we have the committee, Blighted Property Review Committee, that designates properties. You're right, there a lot of them are houses, but some of them are also industrial spaces or former industrial spaces. And so they get designated as blighted, officially, right? It goes on record, and that means then that the RRA can take action. But
Yeah, so what it's going to be, and we are going to be working with the Reading Redevelopment Authority solicitor, Mr. Rothermel, to create a blanket resolution. And obviously, like, we have certain criteria. So if they meet that criteria, we say, okay, this is covered under this resolution. So it doesn't necessarily have to come in front of the Planning Commission whenever they need a reuse recommendation. Now, if it's something like an old industrial building that, you could recommend adaptive reuse or anything like that, then that would still come in front of the commission. But something simple like the last two that we did last month, they were single family homes. And so the recommendation was just, yes, continue the single family home. So creating some sort of blanket resolution that would cover those simpler ones.
Sure. There's also the circumstance that there are illegal multi-unit homes that they need to revert back.
Yeah, and so this was just a conversation we just had today, so we're gonna still, suss out all of the details. But yeah, in a situation like that, we'd have to go back and, review what's, given to us from the Reading Redevelopment Authority, see what we have on file, and then depending on what criteria we create for what can qualify to fall under this resolution, that could be then done at, staff level under that resolution, or it has to come in front of the commission.
So this is the recommendation
The reuse recommendation from the Plan Commission whenever the Reading Redevelopment Authority is looking to acquire any of those properties.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So basically that was the conversation, and we wanted to bring it to the commission and get to hear whether it is something you would support, so that our conversations in the future could be directed that way.
So, and I would add the comment to it that, once it gets taken by the RRA, it needs to revert back to its original zoning, right? That unless a zoning variance has been granted, but in most of the cases it has not.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, there were a couple properties, I believe South 8th or South 9th Street. They, there were these two huge buildings that had, this was not last year, year before, I think. And so the recommendation was, okay, it can maintain the however many units are currently in there. However, it should be looked at that if the apartments were too small to make conforming apartments. So if that meant going from 5 to 3, then that's what kind of, that was kind of what the recommendation
Yeah.
supported.
See, these, in most cases, need major reconstruction anyway, so whatever use they had is irrelevant, you know? Right.
Yeah.
And often were illegally used for different purposes anyway. So.
Yeah, and something like that would probably, and again, we just thought of, had started the conversation today. So as we kind of figure out what these criteria are going to be, that could be, if it's something that they're in violation, that it was converted illegally, we can figure out what can be covered under this blanket resolution and what would still need to come in front of the planning commission.
Yeah, I think that's if agreeable, that is something that now the RRA can work on so that it is officially presented and the commission can look at it to agree or to recommend changes or improvements.
We've, for the people that do come in front of the Blighted Property Review Committee, in other words, they care. They bought something and it's blighted and they want to, fix it up and want to, get caught up with taxes and so forth. And we look at the zoning and say, but it's, only zoned for 1 unit. You're going to rebuild this thing into 3 units, and you got to go to zoning now. You got to go, get amnesty for what the as is before you can't just assume you can go forward. And that's a common conversation. So I bring that up because there is a lot of illegal modifications to houses, a lot.
Yeah, I would just check with the legal department because there is a specific provision in the Pennsylvania ordinance that says that each property, I believe it says that each property has to have its own separate reuse recommendation by the planning commission.
We can double check. Mr. Rothermel had stated that there wasn't anything necessarily prohibiting kind of a blanket resolution like that.
Okay, great.
But I'm not familiar with that. I'm only familiar with the MPC. So that state statute, I'm deferring to his knowledge. And so, obviously we're going to meet whatever ordinance laws that we need to do.
Yeah, that's the only question I have because that's, what is it, section 45, Pennsylvania Code. So, okay. Very good. Anything else? All right. Our next meeting will be our workshop meeting for May 19th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Is that here? Okay. It'll be here in the council chambers. And then our next regular meeting is May 26th, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in council chambers. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second.
Nelson?
Yep.
Okay. Question on the motion?
No question.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good meeting.
Opposed? Okay. Yes, it was. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I really appreciate everyone's time and all of your work and patience. Thank you.
Yep.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.